Hey, you made it. Today I'm going to be talking about the disappointment that was Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and why I just dislike this game so much. I'm going to get straight into what I don't like about it because there is a lot to unpack here, so let's get straight into it. This game just feels like a half-assed DLC. It feels like a DLC that should have come out with Borderlands 3. Like, the overall game time for this is 16 hours if you just play through it start to finish. Like, that is not a full-length game. I should not be paying full price for a game that is 16 hours long for the main objectives. Not when the Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep DLC from Borderlands 2 is 8 to 10 hours long, bearing in mind that is 6 hours shorter than a full feature-length game for just a DLC from Borderlands 2. Like, I was so disappointed paying that much for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. It is just ridiculous. The game just had nothing to offer in comparison to the other two games, in my opinion. I don't understand if you like this game, why do you like this game? It has nothing that the other games have to offer, especially this leads into replayability. This is one of the things I just could not get on with the game on at all. Having true Vault Hunter mode in the Borderlands 3 and the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode in Borderlands 2, it just gives you so much replayability for the game. It also feels like you can then go and do all those side quests all in one playthrough and not have to worry about something having like level 4 enemies in it that you just kill one bullet. It really did a nice job of scaling. It also gave the game a feel of like a fullness, like you could actually play it and you could find loads of new things every time you played it. That was what I enjoyed so much, especially with Borderlands 2, because I got 100% achievements in that game, and I absolutely seshed that to death with my friend. Like, I have played so many hours of that game. I played quite a lot of Borderlands 3 as well, but that's probably for another time. Just comparing it on that alone, the replayability is nothing. I finished Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, I never played it again. I was ready to leave. I quit at the end of the boss fight. I didn't even get the achievement for completing the game because I just wanted to get off it so much. I would rather play Borderlands 2 another 5 times, even though I've already played it for like 300 hours, than ever play Tiny Tina's Wonderlands again. It was just absolutely god-awful. The fact that you get to the end of the game and that is it, all you can do is DLCs, and that leads me into the DLCs for this game are goddamn awful. All you get is 4 mirrors that just take you into a little arena that then leads to a boss, and that is the whole DLC. I'm not paying for that, bro. I looked that up and I was like, absolutely not. There is just no chance. Borderlands 2 and 3, those DLCs were like whole nother stories. Whole purposes to fight. You actually get some backstory and you get a story that is interesting and compelling in most of the cases. Especially prime examples of this are the Dragon Keep one from Borderlands 2. And the Love and Tentacles from Borderlands 3, they're just standout DLCs. But the whole point, in my opinion, for a DLC is a new story or something beneficial to the game that is new and at least exciting to keep you playing the game that bit longer. What are these mirrors going to do to get me to play the game longer? All the enemies in there are the same. There's no new enemies, it's just a new boss and that is all. It's just shoddy. It's just a lazy attempt at DLC. And it really shows how much of a cash grab Gearbox have become in the past couple of years. I will say that a lot of games offer DLCs that don't really seem to add that much to the game anymore. It really just feels like this shady cash grab that's just adds absolutely nothing and you pay out the ass for it. Paying like £12 for something that is like 10 minutes of gameplay, what's the point? I'd rather just play another game. It just makes no sense to me. So that's one of the things I really didn't like. As I said, I read some of the reviews for the DLCs and it just looked awful. And then I looked at some of the gameplay and how long they actually are. Like, what is the point? It's just such a waste of money. Do better. Do better, Gearbox. I have no hopes for Borderlands 4. I'm going to wait to see when it comes out and watch some of the gameplay and see what people are actually saying about it. Because in all honesty, I've kind of lost hope in the past 2 games. Borderlands 3, the story was absolutely garbage. These were some quality of life upgrades in Borderlands 2. All Tiny Tina's Wonderlands did was just rip off all the mechanics from Borderlands 3, which obviously it's going to do, so at least it plays nicely. But that's it. The guns were just absolutely ass. Adding a little automatic crossbow thing into the game is not good enough of a weapon like design. You're not adding enough into the game. Nothing about it is memorable. I can think of a ton of guns from Borderlands 2 that are memorable, and a handful of guns from Borderlands 3 that are memorable. I can't remember a single gun from this game. I played through it once, and I chucked it in the bin. That is basically it. Like, it is just a nightmare of a game. Like, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands guns were just ass. The magic was an interesting addition. It at least added something, but, like, it just didn't feel any good. The same with the skill classes and stuff. Like, the classes from Borderlands 2 and 3 were interesting and fun, and also you can level up enough to actually flesh out some of the skill trees and get overpowered. Being capped to level 40 in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands just felt like a massive kick in the gut. Like, what is that? I enjoyed so much in Borderlands 2 and 3 when you get to those super high levels and you have like a full skill tree completed, or you can start to mix and match skills, find things that actually really start to be overpowered. But no, there's none of that. But again, that leads back to there's no replayability from the game because it just felt like a tacky DLC. It wasn't a full feature-length game in my opinion. It just sucked because of that. But another problem I faced, the same as Borderlands 3 actually, one of the things that really ruins that sort of cadence of the boss fights to me, is boss immunity, and I really hope they take it out for Borderlands 4. Boss immunity is just something that absolutely sucks all of the fun out of the boss fights. It ruins every little bit of the rhythm and fun that you have from it because you've got your skill ready, you're just about shooting it, you just got your overpowered charge attack ready. Oh no, it's gone invulnerable and you can't damage it at all. Go wait for it to jump around the arena for like 15 minutes until it wears off, and then it does it again. It's like, go away. I understand they probably did it to make the game more balanced. Like in Borderlands 2, you could just like red mist enemies and red mist bosses. It would just immediately kill them once you got so overpowered. I'm looking at you, Unkempt Harold, and Miss Moxie's crit from the Gunzerker, but like at least it felt balanced in the way that you didn't have to use those guns. You could at least kill the bosses in a fun and interesting way. And using the skills and leveling up and stuff actually felt like it had a purpose to get more overpowered to then replay the game. There was no purpose for this. You just get more overpowered, beat the boss the first time you play it, and never play the game again. The top-down world from the get-go is just a nightmare. I don't want to be running with a little 3D top-down character. I understand it's a Dungeons & Dragons game, but make it a bit more interesting than that. Like, I don't want to be a little 3D model that's getting attacked by random encounter Pokemon things that come out of the grass. Those chance encounters are probably one of the worst things of the entire game. The first couple of times you're like, oh hey, this is a pretty cool mechanic. It's fun, it keeps it fresh when you're in the overworld. Oh wait a minute, no, it's just the exact same recycled arena. Every single time, the loot is always ass and the enemies are always the same. I just absolutely hated it for that. It was so boring, and if one of your friends goes like to the toilet or goes MIA or something, and they get hit by one of those things, you're just forced to do it. You can't escape from it, and you can't say, no, I don't want to do it. You just have to do this stupid arena every time. Playing through with two other people with this, it was just a nightmare, and I hated it. That was one of the main issues that I had with that overworld. I liked some of the ideas they had there, but I just didn't like it in general. I preferred the world from like Borderlands 2 and 3 where you can drive through to areas and you can go through the actual world and kill enemies and stuff and still feel like you're progressing in the game instead of just this stupid overworld. But overall, it just made for a really terrible experience in my opinion. I didn't enjoy very many aspects of the game and only completed out of just paying for the game. But again, let's see if what they pull out for Borderlands 4. Hopefully it's better than this absolute disaster because goddamn, I hated this game so much. You're probably going to come at me in the comments and say, no, you looked at it as a Borderlands game, not a Dungeons & Dragons game. It isn't a Dungeons & Dragons game, bro. It's terrible. Don't come at me like that. One last thing to notice is the lack of raid bosses and the boss fights in general. Again, I keep comparing it to Borderlands 2, which is probably a bad idea, but having nothing really challenging to fight just ruins the game. Those raid bosses in Borderlands 2 especially, having to team up with your friends and tackle something that is basically impossible to defeat without figuring out a strategy and getting the right gear, just made the game so much more fun, and again added to that replayability. There was nothing here like that. I don't think we ever struggled with a single boss in the entire game. I think the final boss, I might have died one time, but we still killed it on the first try. It's just like, it should be more difficult than this if you're not going to allow for replays. It's just ass. So, yeah. There's been a big rant about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands because I just really didn't enjoy this game, but yeah. If you made it this far in the video, please make sure you subscribe, it'll really help the channel out. And with that, I want to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.